this video, we're going to find the 5th, 10th, and 100th terms of the sequence that starts with 14, 6, -2, -10, and keeps going forever. So, first we'd want to find the common difference so that we can use our equation. So, in order to get from 14 to 6, what do we need to do? Well, we're going to have to subtract 8. So, let's go ahead and write that down. Now, can we get from 6 to -2 the same way? Yes, we can. If we subtract 8 from a 6, we will get -2. So it works there as well. Now, does our pattern continue from -2 to -10? If we subtract 8 from -2, will we get to -10? Yes, we will. So this is our common difference. So now we'll need to remember our equation. Finding any term, we need to know what our first term is, and then add one less than the term we want to find times our common difference. And we can kind of see how this works by looking at our sequence up here. We have 6 as our second term, and we've only used the common difference once in order to find it, even though it's our second term. So that's why we do n minus 1 times the difference. And we always start with our first term because it's given to us in our sequence. So we can always go back to the first term as a starting point. And that'll give us any term in our sequence. So instead of doing this, subtracting 8 100 times, we can just plug in our numbers into our equation here. So we can find the 5th term by using our equation to make sure it works. We can also find it right here. We would just need to subtract 8 from -10 in order to get -18. So we would subtract 8, and then our 5th term here would be -18. Alright, so that's what we hope to get when we use our equation. So let's fill in some of the pieces here. We're going to want to get the 5th term. So n is going to be 5 for the 5th term. Our first term is always going to be 14. Now n minus 1 is going to be 5 minus 1, because we want to find the 5th term, so we're going to need the common difference 4 times. Now our common difference, we've already decided, is -8. So plug that in for D. Okay, so we have 4 here, so it'll be 4 times -8. Bring down that 14, and we want to get this term, so we'll just kind of bring that down in our minds for now. Okay, so bring down 14 again. Now, what is 4 times -8? It's going to be -32. Okay. So then, what is 14 plus a -32? It is, in fact, -18. So we know that our equation works now, because our 5th term, -18, is our 5th term, -18, using our formula. So now we can expand this formula and use it for finding the 10th term. So, in order to find the 10th term, we'd still start with 14 as our first term, because that never changes in our sequence. And then we would add 10 minus 1 times our common difference, which we already decided is -8. Alright, so 14 plus 9 times -8. Alright, our next step. What is 9 times a -8? It's going to be -72. So 14 plus a -72. Let's put that in our calculator. What do we get for that? It's going to be -58. So our 10th term, we now know, is -58. And we know that because in our equation up here, we were able to find our 5th term and check it in our sequence. So now, the last thing we need to find is the 100th term. So, come back to our formula to find the 100th term. We still start with 14 because it's still the first term in our sequence. Then we need to add 100 minus 1 times our common difference, which is still -8. Okay, 14 plus 99 times -8. What is 99 times -8? It's going to be negative 792. So negative 792. Alright then, if we add 14 to that number, what are we going to end up with for our 100th term? It's going to be negative 778. So now we have found all of our terms. All we needed to do was plug in the right numbers into our equation that we started with up here.